The cloud. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get started. And welcome to our 2026 CRAE Workout Information Session. I'm Wendy Lisko. I'm the Executive Director of Arts Ed New Jersey. And I worked with Sanaz and Latasha to create this CRAE workout. I came to this work through many years, first as an educator, then as a theater professional, and then through philanthropy lens, where we were looking at what might make a difference in education in a systemic way, and talked a lot about the culturally responsive component, and yielded this workout. I'm going to introduce you to Sanaz, and you introduce yourself, and then Latasha.
Thanks, Wendy. My name is Sanaz Hudra, and I come to this work with a theater lens. As a theater arts educator, I've spent a lot of my days with young people and also recalling my own experiences in school and how I didn't always feel welcomed or embraced. And looking forward to making sure that we don't perpetuate any of those things and just celebrate young people and be as inclusive as possible. Latasha?
Hey, how's everyone? Welcome. My name is Dr. Latasha Castellala. I'm a come to the work as an educator. I currently serve as a supervisor of visual and performing arts for Passaic Public Schools, and I think my commitment to this work is opening up opportunities to have authentic conversations about things we wonder about but feel scared to talk about, so we don't want to offend people. So this is a wonderful safe space to do that. I come to the work from a music lens. I have a degree in music, but see that the music that our children and we often experience outside of the world is not the music we see in schools. So I work and commit to bring, um, I guess you could say, build the bridge so that we can see what we do in the technical space and how it shows up in culture and vice versa, so that we can do more, create more, and be better. So thanks for being here. We're excited to welcome you.
So, in our brief session today, we're going to talk about who this workout is for, some of the foundational elements of culturally responsive education, and why is it important, and who is this, and what is this great CRAE workout ultimately? How does it manifest? What is the commitment level, etc., and ultimately how to engage?
So, who is this workout for? And it is called Culturally Arts Education Workout. And we want to really emphasize it is not just for arts educators or teaching artists or administrators who work in arts nonprofits. It's really designed for everyone in the education field. K-12 administrators, classroom educators, counselors, school board members. If we've had a lot of folks who are actually pre-service educators and working in a secondary program, and they have literally said to us it was probably the most important course that they took to prepare them to teach. We have seen a lot of nonprofit staff who work with youth. And not only that, because what you will learn will apply to your relationships with other adults as well. We also have found that it's really important for caregivers, parents, to also be thinking about this. It allows them to take a look at the education that their children are receiving. We've had um, school nurses, we've had science educators, math educators, we've had so many different people. And really, what is exciting about that diversity is the community that you can create. We also talk a lot about those people who have already taken the course. We have found that every time you take go through the 8 weeks of content, you find something new, you discover something else. Or if you've already done a lot of study around diversity, equity, and inclusion or social justice work, this is a really unique approach to it. We love this quote from Herculides. He says, no person ever steps in the same river twice because the river's not the same and we are not the same. So we encourage you, if you have taken this before, to come again and maybe come with a partner, somebody else who you can do this work along with, because we have found also too that it's helpful to be able to go into a district or a school and have more than one person talking about the kind of change that we're going to be proposing. When we do this work, you'll find that we create a container to make a safe space. And you'll note that it doesn't say create a safe space here, because one thing that we've learned over time is that if we're designing a space that's safe or feels safe for ourselves, often it is not a space that is safe for others. So we create a space where you can be brave to explore, much like what you were saying, Latasha, earlier. Um, Building that bridge requires someone to be brave. We we have a lot of mechanisms to do that, and we teach them early on, and they will also be there throughout the process. We talk a lot about culture as well, because we've learned that culture is complex, and um, we often talk about the fact in schools that about the visible culture. Those are the things that we see, our dress, our traditions. We have recipes that we share, and um, days where we talk about different customs, etc. But this workout that we'll be doing is going to go deeper. It's going to talk about invisible culture, talk about people's assumptions about their students, their colleagues, our belief systems and our attitudes, and even deeper, some of our values that influence how we behave and how we respond to the visible culture. And Sanaz, why don't you share a little bit about another tool that we use?
Yes, we use this wonderful book that was developed and written by Luz Divina Lozano, an educator out in Texas, that really helps us examine why a culturally responsive education is important. This is a story about a young girl who is at birth given a physical, metaphorical suitcase. This is where she keeps her ideas and values, all the things that Wendy talked about, is things above the waterline. And then she goes to school, she's asked to hand it in, and she gets a new one. And she mourns this, but she really doesn't know what she has to do, and fills the new suitcase with new things that she's taught in school, but then goes to college to realize that others have two suitcases. And we use this metaphor throughout the workout. And we look at, what do our suitcases mean to us? And maybe make sure that we as educators celebrate the things that our young people come to our schools with. And how do we respond to them? How do we give them space? So we use this as the metaphor really throughout the workout and tie back into it. And it kind of ties everything together. We also want to kind of examine why this is important. We are very much committed to learning more about culturally responsive teaching practice and developing this mindset to support all young people. And this is our opportunity to really embed equity in our work. This workout is curated, so we have all spent a lot of time sifting and searching through articles and materials and resources, so you could take a look at this work through the lens of the individual, the interpersonal, and institutional, and what are things that we can do on each of those levels. And we have conversations that we look at what quality arts education looks like in action. You have the opportunity to join a community of people who are really committed to this learning about self-discovery and then applying that through the arts lenses. And for the hours that we convene together, there are professional development hours that are available via Arts Ed New Jersey. And so there are two ways really to participate. One is asynchronously on your own and on your own time. We, through March 19th through, excuse me, January 19th through March 13th, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we email out prompts that have either something to read or something to watch. And then we have questions in which for you to respond to at your own time, at your own level. Then we have another opportunity that you take the asynchronous workout, and then we have opportunities to meet virtually and have a series of guided conversations that happen every other Tuesday from 4 to 5:30 with an optional extra half hour to help turnkey the information if you are working with colleagues at your school or organization that you have the opportunity to lead them if Tuesday evenings aren't good for everyone. The dates for the virtual guided conversations are January 27th, February 10th, February 24th, and March 10th. So to get back to what the prompts look like, this is a sample prompt that we have that you would watch the video of La Maleta, which is the storybook read by a wonderful young artist. And the talks about how long it is. We try to be really transparent about how long things take. And then some reflection prompts about how you would respond to the actual video of the story. And Natasha's going to talk about the art making that's involved.
So, one of the best parts about this workout is not only do you get to bring your brilliance to the space and talk and learn from others, but you get to do something creative in that process. And so, one of the things that we talk about is the art making experience. So, here you see an example of it looks like a little, it could be a basket, it could be a purse, it could be a suitcase. It's up to how you kind of want to interpret it, but you get to create something that's reflective of the journey that you're going through as we're talking from all of the articles that you learn, videos you've seen, conversations that you've had. This is just one sampling. Let's say that you're a dancer, right? And you're a choreographer. You can be thinking about how can you express what you've learned through that medium. Musicians, we've had people who've actually composed songs. So we just want you to be thinking about the art making is not only from what you just see, but it's also connecting to who you are as a person, and the strength and what you bring into the space. So art making is fantastic. You have the entire duration of the workout to do so. And we usually showcase it and share it out as a group. And we kind of see kind of what you've done, and we kind of talk through that process as we go along throughout the entire workout. So we also have the curriculum scorecard. So a good portion of this work is learning and thinking about it from an individual perspective, from a community perspective, and from thinking about how does it look like from an organizational system. And so the curriculum scorecard has four different elements that you get to look at, saying, well, what is actually being taught and what perspectives are being shared. The scorecard is like a non-biased piece that allows you to look and simply read statements, they're declarative statements that you can then say, well, what is here, what is not here. So there's no judgment within the scorecards. It really is just great data to kind of look at and say, well, what stories are we talking about? What are we telling? We talk about it from the different perspectives of representation. Whose stories are we elevating, sharing, or talking about with the diversity tally? And then what are the perspectives? What are the styles, the genres, and the characters that are being elevated as we're looking at what we actually utilize? And that can be even in any way. It could be from a curriculum lens, it could be from a showcase, a show, a concert. How are you seeing it? Depending on what your lens are and how you come to the work. We also think about what teaching resources and materials are out there and available. Again, how are those either reinforcing or excluding different types of perspectives in the work that we do? And then last but not least, the social justice coming from an asset-based perspective. So what are we hearing? What are we seeing? How are we elevating? How are we making our students focused advocates for arts education. And how is that present in the work that they're doing, not just in their performances, but also in what we're studying, who we're studying, and what skill set we're teaching them. In addition, we have these great opportunities for you to engage other folks in your circle, in your life, and in your village. So we have these family engagement experiences. So we know that you're not living in a bubble, of course, independently by yourself. So we've shared some experiences, ways to engage other people to continue the conversation beyond our curated conversations or the asynchronous or synchronous model. You can have the opportunity to look at different movies and see how these movies help to elevate, share different perspectives. So you'll see some of the ones that are there, including Coco, Jingle Jangle, one of my favorites. And there's a slew of other ones. We give these to you piece by piece by piece as the weeks go on. So you have an opportunity to kind of hear and kind of connect what you're learning with some of the things that you're seeing. And it helps to enrich and broaden the perspective. And also just helps to help with pondering, thinking about questions, wonders, ideas, and how we see them not only in the world we live in and work from educational perspective, no matter where you are as a stakeholder, but also how does it show up in the greater world, society, and the communities in which we live. Last but not least, we have our online community. So our Google Classroom is a space and a place where we get to share our insights. There is a free opportunity for people to be able to meet and to talk when it works for them. Our Google Classroom will have a number of resources that are going to be available in them. In addition, it's a space where, as we're doing reflections, if you have a question, you have a wonder, and you'd like to pose it to the group, it's a way to connect with people beyond our live synchronous meetings. You can share information if you find resources, articles. We've had a very rich dialogue and conversation. We found that the Google Classroom really helps to keep us connected, sometimes even more than when we're talking together because it continues the conversation as the weeks flow by. So there are some pieces that we will share with you about joining because we do know that some organizations have some challenges with joining into Google Classroom, but we'll be sure to share out some quick hints to help you have a seamless transition so that you can join that community as well. To you, Sanaz.
And the deepening the experience as the four virtual guided conversations are really a key place. I always call this workout a choose your own adventure. You can choose what you want to do and what you want to be a part of. You can decide if you want to turn left or turn right, skip a reading, go down a rabbit hole. It is all up to you and how you want to do it. But I do feel like those four virtual guided conversations really help to like stitch everything together and be a place where folks can bring, as Latasha said, those wonderings, those possibilities, those places where things didn't click, an opportunity to test that out. So, um, the as I mentioned earlier, they take place every other Tuesday from 4 to 5:30, and you can have people who can come there to find out if they can turnkey the conversations and how to do so. We're very transparent with the use of our PowerPoints to use with other people, so you can create that own peer learning community within your organization or school. And they're up to 8 hours of professional development credits that you can get from ArtsEd New Jersey if you are a part of the virtual guided conversations. Wendy?
So I hope you can tell from what we've shared so far, that we really tried to develop something that could fit into very busy lives. We make it so that it's pay what you can. We really want to emphasize that we do not want dollars to be a limit. We just want you to join us for as Sanaa says, the adventure. Um, we try to make it as practical as possible. So if you are somebody who likes to work with Google Classrooms, you go that path. If you want to be working by yourself, you can do it that way. And we make it flexible. We've even embedded within it a catch-up day so that you can, give yourself the luxury to, if you're having a very busy day, do not feel like you have to let perfect get in the way of progress. It is self-paced. You can imagine 30 minutes for 3 times a week. And we called it purposefully a workout because it makes that kind of commitment where every time you do it, you get a little bit stronger and you go deeper and deeper. I loved, Latasha, that you brought up that it is like 3 levels. Every day is an individual. The Mondays are about your individual experience. Wednesdays are about how we connect with each other. And Fridays are about how systems are reflected with and can be improved through culturally responsive practices. You will find that it gives you an opportunity to self-reflect. And I don't know about you all, it's hard to know where to start in this conversation. And this workout paces that for you. Um, so we want to take a moment to open up and see if there are any questions. I do not know if there would be any. Seeing none in the chat, I'm going to share with you the website. You can learn more. There's lots of information on the Arts Ed New Jersey Professional Learning CRAE Workout website, and the registration is in the chat. We hope to see you there.